Ideas matter, and the people that hold them matter too. This project was conceptualized to develop a human rights-centered approach to receiving at-risk scholars, students, and activists in higher education in Canada.
The project was an immediate response to the Afghan crisis of 2021, which resulted in a large number of displacement of Afghan scholars, activists, students, and journalists who fled the country, and many of who came to Canada. It was a project funded by IDRC Canada, led by Carleton University in collaboration with University of British Columbia. The project is aimed at having a better understanding of crisis responses in higher education institutes in Canada, but at the same time to support displaced Afghan activists, academics, and students in their resettlement and integration. The project was designed around 3 programs. The first part of the program was scholar placement, the second being knowledge preservation, and the third program was intergenerational networks and futures. The first 2 programs were led by Carleton University, and the third one was led by University of British Columbia. The scholar placement program of the project aimed at placing Afghan scholars in 6 Canadian universities. The purpose of it was to help Afghan scholars to continue with their work, to build their research programs, familiarize with Canadian academia, and reconnect with the Afghan diaspora in Canada. At the end of the project, we were successful in placing 6 Afghan scholars in these Canadian universities who today continue to work in fields of gender, psychology, business studies, sociology, and STEM. As a design of the project, we had a care group system that supported our participants on a regular basis through one-to-one care and wellness checkup, mental health support, and any other support that they needed at their personal and private matters.
This initiative, number one was that they got a place where they can come beside their project. They can discuss their professional, social, and settlement issue. As our most participants were women, so gender component really came very significantly, where the women got opportunity to talk about their mental health issues.
One of the aims of the project was to help Afghan scholars and activists now living in Canada to continue with the work and preserving their existing knowledge systems. It also wanted to support Afghan scholars, and especially the activists, to build new knowledge networks in diaspora.
This project, New Home Old Memories, is about preserving the memories of the displaced Afghans who came to Canada as a result of the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan.
We started this Women in Tech Afghanistan in February 23. The main objective of this program is to bridge the gender-racial divide in Afghanistan.
We are 3 Afghan women judges that live in Vancouver, work on a project about domestic violence against women comparatively between Afghanistan and Canada.
So the purpose of the ICF arm of the project is to think about the experiences of students, displaced students, how transitioning from one educational system to another has impacted them, and how we can facilitate their continued excellence and success. Another aim of the program is to think about the connections between students and scholars, these intergenerational connections. What can we do to foster connections and conversations between displaced Afghan scholars and displaced Afghan students? And what is the role of Canadian higher education in general? We had students over the last few years conducting a range of really interesting research projects. We also have research projects that look at what kind of networks exist if we think about attempting to build connections between students and scholars and activists. What do we know about knowledge networks that can help us think through what we can do to support people in this space?
One of the questions and challenges that this project took up was, how do we in higher education respond to crises, environmental and human crises? We discovered there were a few things we can do so that we don't reinvent the wheel every single time. One is about thinking about knowledge systems preserving those knowledge systems through the activists, the students, and the scholars who have left their countries of origin. The second thing is about hosting practices. How do we receive people coming from their countries? What we have discovered is that using dignity as a model and as a center, and using that as a platform for understanding their talents, recognizing their skills, is the way forward. And we have developed a model around this. And thirdly, we need the immigration system to keep pace with our need. We know who the scholars are. Now we need them to be able to come to Canada.